Hello and welcome to Eastern Geeks Out, an EP Media associated podcast where I'll be discussing news and interesting topics in the gaming and entertainment world. My name is Deforest White.
And I am Jordan Lowry.
And we'll be your hosts for the duration of these episodes. Season 3, Jordan?
Season 3, man.
How we feeling?
You know, it's been quite a journey. Over the summer, I took a job at the aquarium. Took some pictures of people, and you know, it was actually pretty fun. It was really fun. It opened my eyes to me still not liking people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But again, what can you do?
I mean, given the option between people and fish, I would take fish the majority of the time. I don't like how people taste.
Oh wait, what?
What?
How do you know that?
So anyway,
how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I've had a decent amount of work on my plate since getting back, but you know, nothing I'm not prepared for. We got a lot to do here in the broadcasting department. I got a lot to do in performance. But we've always got like that leisure time to sort of wind down from everything, which sort of segues into my first question. You're working at the aquarium, but also over summer, what games did you play, Jordan?
Yikes. So I wanted to check out a lot of games. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't get to checking out a lot of games.
Dang.
There was this one game. I even had this prepared because I thought you were gonna ask a question like this, but I forgot what the game was called.
You got one job.
I know, but I can describe it very well.
Sure, let's see if I can name it.
Okay, so it was on Xbox Game Pass.
Okay.
And it was this game that kind of took place, I think, in like the kind of like Middle Ages. So like,
okay,
there was a lot of knights, princesses, princes, stuff like that.
Sure.
But it was a princess who was blind. So you're playing the game in total darkness. There's the only thing you have to go about it is the sound. And also, you had to use like the kind of colors on the screens, because there was just like little colorful dots on the screen, and that's all you're following.
Now, okay, I actually have no idea, because the game that I thought of immediately was The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. Which I've never played, but I know because Zombico, a VTuber that I watched and actually was the first person to ever cosplay as, played like 2 years ago. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds really cool.
It was actually like a kind of interesting game, if I can like think of the name of it, because it was like, I didn't really play it that much. Like I played like probably an hour of it. And it was really good. Like, it wasn't bad for its thing, but it was just like it was one of those interesting games that, you know, like you don't really see that often, but then you were like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Is it called The Veil?
I think so. Yeah.
Shadow of the Crown?
I think it was, yes. That sounds right.
I asked because there's an Axios article that I just found called A Video Game You Can't See, and looks like it is currently on sale for $12, but that sale ends in 5 days. So
I think that's
it's currently on sale for $8, and that ends in 5 days. So if any of our listeners want to go check that out on Xbox or PC, they can do that.
Yeah.
And you said it's on Game Pass as well?
It should be. It's not popping up. They might have removed it off of Game Pass. I think it was one of those games that I played before Game Pass. But yeah, if it was actually a really good game, I would recommend it.
Cool.
But there was some more games I played, like just a few titles. Like I went back and replayed Cyberpunk. I played Destroy All Humans 2, the second one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't really like it that much.
I didn't know there was a Destroy All Humans 2. I knew they had like made a remastered version of the original. I didn't know there was a sequel.
Yeah, there's a sequel of it, and I was like, I didn't know that at first either until it was on PlayStation Plus. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting as well.
Cool.
I think that's about like all the games I played, and then like my go-tos like Warframe and
Right.
Rocket League sometimes, but that was just basically all of them. What about you though?
So the games that I ended up playing the most of were games that we talked about at the end of last semester's season, uh, where it was like upcoming games and stuff that was about to release. And the first one, which came out the day that we left our dorms, was Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
Which I think I didn't give a proper chance. And I'm not saying that because I think it's not a good game. It's an amazing game, and I loved every second of it. But I beat it in a week, and I haven't unlocked like 60% of the map.
Wow.
I got this game. I went through the like getting the champions, and I went straight from that to fighting the final boss. I speed ran through the last area, showed up to Ganondorf's like arena with 3 hearts left because you get through the last section and it prevents you from healing, and not enough like sunlight based food to heal myself. So I'm a little bit proud of my ability to make it through the entire final boss section without taking any damage, because if I took a hit, I would die. But as a result of having done that, I missed so much of the content of the game.
Right.
I like my best friend Nick is talking about like, oh, there's this village where you can unlock this really cool outfit that gives Link like a cool ceremonial dress and everything, and I was like, never heard of that. I didn't go there. I have no idea where that would be even. And there's a lot like that, but the problem was that I was planning on putting a ton of hours into Tears of the Kingdom, and I ended up playing 12 hours a day-ish for a week, and after 5 days, it's like, I've played it for 60 hours, I did the thing, I beat the game. And I was like, cool, neat, time to go back and play through the rest of it, see what I missed. Except that's when Street Fighter 6 dropped. And that was the rest of my summer.
I figured that one.
Yeah.
When Street Fighter 6 dropped, I was like, yeah, he's probably playing that right now.
This is my life now.
Yeah, no.
As of right now, being back in school, I am alternating between Street Fighter 6 and Overwatch 2 rapidly. I play each one of them probably for about 2 to 3 hours each day, which, as a side effect of doing that and also going to school means I don't sleep anymore. So, win some, you lose some, but I mean, my win-loss ratio is pretty good.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So
there are some other games that I do want to talk about that came out over the summer that I think are just wildly interesting. So, why don't we just go down a few of them? To be honest, not many of them seem like games that you would be playing, and I've only got experience with a couple.
Okay.
So let's just go down the list. Diablo 4 came out.
yeah, I did hear about that one. My friend actually was trying to told me to play it. Of course, again, it's not really my cup of tea, mainly because of the top-down kind of style to it.
That.
But I was gonna check that out. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I actually really like the play style of Diablo and the sort of like constant growth fueling kind of thing that it has going. So the gameplay loop does appeal to me. I'm also typically not somebody who enjoys the top down look, but with Diablo, it doesn't have that like RTS thing where you're supposed to be like clicking everywhere you go and everything like you would have in like multiplayer online format. Instead, you're like moving directly, and it feels more like you're playing Gauntlet to me. So it actually kind of translates pretty well for me. I enjoy it. I have yet to play Diablo 4. It's installed on the PS5. I just haven't opened it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that came out, and it was immediately followed by what I think is one of the most graphically impressive games I've ever seen. Final Fantasy 16 looks insane.
I have seen some stuff about Final Fantasy 16 in their graphics. have I checked out the game? I have not, but I was looking at that. I haven't actually touched any Final Fantasy games though. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The
Do
only
you
one
know
I've
anything about like how they work or anything?
barely
Okay.
no.
So Final Fantasy is one of those series where all of the games, like, they say they're sequels, but they're completely removed from one another. Like, you might have, like, the same species of monster showing up from game to game, but that's it. Like, the world that this game takes place in is a completely different world from the one that Final Fantasy 15 takes place in, from the one that Final Fantasy 14 takes place in, from the world that Final Fantasy 7 takes place in.
See, that's what I was scared of. I was scared that I was gonna be like, I gotta go through the first game all the way
Nah.
through the 16th game and like spend 2 years trying to get back to it.
No.
That's kind of where my dilemma was. Like,
No, you
alright.
can play the Final Fantasy games in any order, unless you live in the U.S., at which point some of them aren't called Final Fantasy anymore. When they were porting over a bunch of the games, like in the early parts of the series, they skipped 2 or 3 of the games, but in order to not confuse customers over here, they renamed. I think Final Fantasy IV was renamed Final Fantasy II and brought over here. So Japan had 2 other games before we got what we thought was the second one that was actually the fourth in the series.
Wow.
And they did that like 3 times in the 90s. Shit's wild.
No, literally.
But Final Fantasy 16 is really interesting. And I've heard people talk about sort of like where Square Enix is going with their recent games in the franchise. Because Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is the other modern one that's happening, is obviously, like as the name implies, a remake of the original Final Fantasy VII, but it's a completely different genre of game. The original Final Fantasy VII was like technically turn-based in that like you had the meter that filled up for each character, and when it filled up, it was time for that character to take their turn, and combat would just go as quickly as you were able to maneuver through the menu.
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is a borderline open world, like, city exploration game where all of the combat, like, you can freeze time to take your turn, but most of the time it plays like a Devil May Cry hack and slash game, and you've got a bunch of selectable abilities like you're playing Kingdom Hearts or something.
Right. Yeah.
And I've seen people make comparisons for both Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 16, which takes that real-time combat and like to the natural extreme. Like there is no turn at all. It's all like building up your skill tree so that you can use and equip different moves associated with different summons and gods and or icons as they're called in this game, spelled weird. But the game is structured extremely linearly while still letting the player interact with like the whole like fully voice acted world that's super fleshed out and intricate. And the comparisons that I've seen people making are Final Fantasy VII Remake seems to be heavily inspired and pulling from Sega's Yakuza series, and Final Fantasy 16 seems to be heavily inspired by and taking from CD Projekt Red's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, where your main like style of combat is this real-time hack and slash, choose between spells and abilities, and then maneuvering through, like, find a spot on the map that you go from your base, and then maneuver through these like great big open areas. But it is like sort of channeling you through this linear gameplay, and it's really interesting because Final Fantasy is a franchise that already had its own series identity in terms of like what it was willing to do with it, and then they chose to sort of abandon that in favor of, I mean, I would say like trying something new, but like taking the franchise in a new direction. But they're absolutely doing things that other series have done. It's just not something that we would think of as being Final Fantasy. And honestly, I think Final Fantasy 16 does it really well.
Okay.
You said you didn't know too much about the game itself.
Yeah, no. I just heard that the graphics were pretty good, actually.
The game is a cinematic like masterpiece. It's like the graphics are amazing by themselves, but also the structure of the game is really interesting because you play as Clive, the protagonist, and you play as him when he's like a young kid in his teenage years, and you play as him when he's in his mid-20s as an adult, and you play as him when he's in his like late 30s as like a grizzled warrior.
Oh.
And there's these like in between those there's these two great big time skips where the world vastly changes and you get to see the impacts that your actions when you were younger has on the world continuing, and all of the characters that you've been with, you get to see like how they've aged and the ones that survived and the ones that didn't, and the world is actually moving around you and responding to the shit that you're doing. And it's really interesting because I can't think of another game that's so unabashedly been like, yeah, you're gonna play through this dude's life, that's the story. And it's crazy because I genuinely can't think of another game that's done that on this scale, with the exception of one other game that's a wild thing to pull from, and also the next item on our list, which is Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, which is a farming simulator where you take control of a dude who inherits a farm and lives on the countryside.
You know,
that's a fun segue, wasn't it?
I like the like transition you had there, but for the actual gameplay from Final Fantasy to this, I don't.
Now I do have a legitimate reason for this, because
Okay.
Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life in particular is really interesting because I can't for the life of me figure out what is going on with this IP. I played this game. Not this one, because this one's just now coming out. It came out over the summer. But I played A Wonderful Life on the GameCube when it was released as Harvest Moon: It's a Wonderful Life. Okay. But Harvest Moon is a pre-existing, it's an owned IP. I think it's owned by Bandai Namco, I'm pretty sure. And it's a wildly successful franchise. It's been around forever. And it's like the OG relaxing like farm simulation game. And It's a Wonderful Life was really interesting because it gave you this little community that you showed up to this thing as a kid. You inherited a farm from a family member, and there were all of these town members that you could get closer to. And the game, like, you literally play through your character's entire life in real time. And I think it's something like a 365-day in-game timer or something like that, where your character will slowly age and, like, their hair will turn gray. And right. You play through and you marry somebody and you settle down and you have 1 to 3 kids. And you get a pet, and you maybe have some trouble with the bank, but it's okay because your business is going pretty all right, and you're taken care, and you can supply for yourself with this farm. And the game ends with you surrounded by the people that you love and all the connections that you've made, comforting you on your deathbed before the credits roll. Just that's how it goes. Fun, relaxing farm simulator game. Mm-hmm. And it's wild to me because, one, that's just a wildly ambitious thing for a game to do. It's also extremely brazen because this game is for children. But that was Harvest Moon: It's a Wonderful Life. And now there's a remake of it being made called Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. And as best I can tell, Story of Seasons up until now has been like a spiritual successor to Harvest Moon. But this game is a one-to-one recreation of this GameCube game that I'm talking about, and isn't associated with Harvest Moon at all. So I don't know how it's legal for this game to exist. Like, did they buy the rights to this specifically, or is it considered a spin-off? Or I can't tell what's going on with it. The licensing here is weird. I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't think of another circumstance where I've seen something like this happen. Closest thing I can think of is like Doki Doki Panic in Japan being changed to Super Mario Brothers 2 in the US. Are you unfamiliar with that one?
I am very unfamiliar with that one.
So the game that most people would think of as being the second Super Mario Brothers game, uh, if they live in the West, would be Super Mario Brothers 2. It's all set as like a stage play sort of thing. You can choose between playing Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. It introduced the whole like, oh, Luigi jumps higher, Peach can float, all that. And it's the one where you run around and you like pull turnips out of the ground and throw it at enemies, and Birdo's there, and you've got all these crazy enemies like the mask that follows you around as long as you've got the key, and it's got weird like enemy designs and everything, and final boss that would never be seen again. His name's Wart. He's a big frog dude. And then at the end of the game, the end credits are, oh, you dreamt the whole thing. You were Mario and you were sleeping. But that game wasn't the second Mario Brothers game. That was the game that we in the West were told was the second Mario Brothers game, because it was a reskinned version of some random Japanese game called Doki Doki Panic. The actual second Mario Brothers was just released in Japan as Super Mario Brothers 2, but it was exactly the same as the first Mario Brothers, except it had like springs in it and different levels. But like the sprite work was all the same. It had the same enemies. It had the same bosses and everything. It was all just more of Mario 1. But we wouldn't see that game come to the West until it was released as Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels in I think it's only ever come to the US in games that were like package deals. Like, oh, this cartridge has like Mario 1 through 3 and as a bonus the Japanese exclusive Mario 2, which we're renaming to be Mario: The Lost Levels. And I think it may have been present in one of the like Super Mario Bros. Advance games on the GBA. But it's one of those cases where like the Japanese audience have an entirely different game with unique characters, and then they slapped Mario sprites over the main cast of that and gave it to us, and now we consider that to be a Mario game. And Birdo is like the one that I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm sure that Shy Guys were also introduced in that game. And these are things that we just consider standard Mario stuff now, but they're only there because of a weird like reskinned licensing thing.
Facts. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
It's really weird. I still don't fully understand why that happened. If I had to guess, it may have literally just been, this is a weird game that we have with a weird name. How can we get Americans to buy it? So they just called it Mario 2. After Story of Seasons, though, there's another game that people seem to be on the fence of whether it's super relaxing or incredibly infuriating. Pikmin 4 came out this summer.
That sounds so familiar. Like,
you gotta know what Pikmin is.
I feel like I've definitely heard of Pikmin.
It's a crowd management game where you play as a little astronaut dude, and you're super tiny, and you land on Earth, which to you is an alien world, and you like go around with a bunch of tiny dudes and pick up objects. Like, you are the size of ants, but you're like collecting artifacts like a Duracell battery or like a radio, and you're bringing them back to your ship. This is the game that Olimar and Alf are from, if you see them in Smash Brothers. No? Okay. Have you not played Smash?
I have played Smash.
Okay. They're in that. He throws little like red, blue, and yellow guys. Nothing? Dang. Well, I have no better way of explaining this.
I have not played Smash in so long. Like, it's crazy. I need to get back into it.
We should play Smash, man.
Bet. Like, I'll probably beat you. Like, I'm that competitive. Like,
this is a friendly reminder that I competed in Smash Brothers in EVO 2019. I flew myself out to Vegas specifically for that.
That don't matter.
All right. Okay. All right. I also used to help run the Smash tournaments here on campus
That
for
don't
like
matter.
a year.
That don't matter. I'll still beat you.
All right. Who's your main?
Pikachu.
You know what? You might win. If ESAM has taught me anything, it's that Pikachu is the best character in the game, and it doesn't matter what other people say.
I'm just saying.
I play Lucas for the record, so I'm not allowed to have opinions. But yeah, Pikmin 4, it's a big deal. People either love it or hate it, but it's one of those games that's like just a game that people have been waiting for a sequel to for a really long time. And if I'm not mistaken, as of now, you can play the entire Pikmin franchise on Switch. Because I think you can get Pikmin 1 and 2 as a package deal. Pikmin 3 got like a remastered version of it from the Wii U that got ported over. And now Pikmin 4 is just released. So if I'm not mistaken, you can play all of the games that matter on the Switch. There was like Hey Pikmin or like Pikmin Go or something on the 3DS. I think it's Hey Pikmin. But that was bad and everyone hated it.
Oh,
so
thanks.
Don't worry about it. Never happened. Other than that, though, we got some more like super recent stuff with the release of Baldur's Gate 3. And based on your comment earlier about not wanting to play Diablo.
Yeah. See, I've also heard a lot about Baldur's Gate. Like I was checking out a game reviewer, just a YouTuber, and
it was critical, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very critical. I'm not gonna lie. It was talking about like why people think that Baldur's Gate, like the negatives about Baldur's Gate, and why people think like.
No, I mean the video was by Moist Critical, wasn't it?
No, it was by Game Ranks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, never mind.
They were just talking about like, like why people think this game isn't really like shining, but they were showing off some gameplay of it. I was like, no, no,
not feeling it.
It's just the top down. I don't. Maybe if I played on PC,
Jordan.
I don't know.
Let me see if I can try and convince you. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
You can fuck a bear.
Why would I want to do that? Wait, why would I want to do that? Like, no.
And that was something that they showed off at one of the first ever demonstrations of Baldur's Gate 3.
No, thank you. Think I'm gonna pass indefinitely.
You can have hot, steamy, gay sex with a dude who transforms into a bear on accident and he gets all flustered, but you have, as the player, the option of saying, let's get back into it, or it's okay, or go back. I wanted that, actually.
That's not right. That is not right. I don't know what it is.
I think I can explain it.
Okay.
An entire generation of people grew up both being horny and reading Animorphs.
But I don't see how that correlates to having sex with
simultaneously.
I still don't see how that correlates to having sex with a bear.
Horny, people turning into animals. Now, put them together.
I'm still not having sex with a bear. I'm not doing it.
Okay, maybe you're not doing it. The internet's been doing it for a while, but as soon as they found out it was an option.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised about that.
And the crazy thing is that demonstration where we first saw that was a call and response exhibition, meaning that the person up on stage who was playing the game was literally calling out to the audience and being like, which dialogue option should I press? And people chose the bear one.
That is so bad. That is so bad.
You just have a bunch of women in the audience going, yeah!
That is wrong. I can't,
Make my twink bed a furry mammal.
Moral personally would not let me pick that
It's
option.
the funniest. Why is it in the game?
I don't know. That is crazy. That is.
It's just, man. How did we get here?
I don't know. I don't know how we went from A to
Q.
Basically.
I don't know. It's one of those things of like, hey, freedom of player expression is fantastic, and you should let anyone do anything. Except that.
I'm not letting them do that. I'm not letting them do that.
I'm being a tad hyperbolic. I'm actually fine with it. I just think it's really, really funny.
That is something that like caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like it's not like all parties are consenting adults, and it's not a mandatory thing in the game. It's something that you have the option of doing. And we live in a world where kids grow up and they're like, yeah, mom said I couldn't go to the strip club in GTA 5, but other than that, I got free reign. Time to go run over people.
Facts.
Like, in comparison, this seems tame to me.
Well, I mean, like let's be real here. Let's be real. Let's not be real, because I literally forgot where I was going with that.
That's cool.
I just forgot. It happened.
I don't know. This is one of those things where, like, this would not be the thing to get me to buy the game. But it's a pretty good game, looks like. I will say, it did open up the grounds for some interesting discussion, which was the thing I thought you were going to be talking about. There was a reviewer who did an opinion piece on IGN's YouTube channel that was talking about the positive outcry responding to Baldur's Gate 3 and how amazing of a game it is, and then other game developers in the industry responding to people being like, this is a new standard for AAA games, and they were basically saying, hey, no it isn't. Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, if you're expecting all AAA games to be like that, you will be disappointed. We can't constantly put out masterpieces like this.
Right.
And the opinion piece from IGN basically says we shouldn't accept that as an answer as consumers, and we should expect these masterpieces to be like the standard, and we should expect AAA games to go in that direction.
See, I don't like that.
People have largely said, as far as I can tell, that this is the best take that IGN has had in years.
Right. Wait, no, I don't like that. No.
Nor do I.
I really don't like that.
But this is the popular opinion.
Because the thing is, like, we also have to think about, like, again, we talked about this one episode that there's these developers are still people.
Right.
Like,
we talked about crunch time.
We talked a lot about crunch time. It was the fact that you have these people over here that's going, yes, it's their job. It's their job to make this game. But you also have to think they're trying to please the consumers, aka us.
Right.
A good example of what I saw kind of like this, I was just, I'm not gonna lie, I was talking to myself in the shower about like the Assassin's Creed franchise.
As one does.
As one does. Because I was hearing about, like, they're talking about, oh yeah, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it was like dog crap compared to like what Mirage can be now, or what everything could be, or like the original like Assassin's Creed games. You expect them to have this like perfect masterpiece off the rip, when we know there's going to be bugs, we know there's going to be fixes, we know there's going to be all sorts of stuff. Let's go with Cyberpunk, for example.
Sure.
You can't have, well, Cyberpunk was not really good at launch. We can agree with that. It was it was a buggy mess.
Broken.
It was broken. That, in the game sense, like that's broken. But if you have a few bugs here and there where, you know, like the people that, again, don't know how to make games, and they're still going to talk about you should have a perfect masterpiece, they're going to sit there and say, I encountered a bug where I could not change my outfit. Okay, it's going to happen. But if you're telling me you want a perfect game off rip, that's not going to happen. That's unrealistic. That's inconceivable. That's a big word for Elmo. Come on. Like, I'm just saying. Like, it's just, I just feel like people shouldn't really go for the fact that, oh, this should be a perfect game off launch. You have a set release date. And for that set release date, that's where you have to meet. If your
Yeah.
game is a little buggy, if it has the golden light to go, you're good to go. But if you're gonna say, "Oh, I want this game now," but it has to be perfect, that's not gonna be realistic.
Yeah, and Assassin's Creed is a good example for that because those games do have yearly releases.
Well,
we
yeah.
we get an Assassin's Creed just about every year, and if I'm not mistaken, the only way that Ubisoft is able to do that is they have the games being developed simultaneously, and they stagger which studios are doing it. So like every other studio,
Yeah, that's what
every
they've
other
been doing
year
so
it's
far.
developed in Vancouver, and every other year it's developed in France. I want to say.
So what they're doing now, I did read about this too.
Mhm.
So what they did was, so they stopped doing annual releases,
Right.
just because of how big and how massive the games are going to be. But they don't start planning from like, I think 2 cycles. So when Origins was coming out, they were just now thinking of Valhalla, and then like when this was coming out, they were thinking of this. So far with Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is again is the newest Assassin's Creed coming out, it was covered by Ubisoft in Montreal, I believe, and they're trying to take their time with it, which I love. They already have the golden light, by the way,
Mhm.
and again, but they're still getting backlash from people saying like, "Oh, you're not you're not you're not doing your yearly releases anymore. You stopped doing that. It's been 5 years since an Assassin's Creed game came out. What are you doing? Blah 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 blah. All this, and what I have to say to that again is these are big. Now we're getting into the RPG type of elements of the game,
Mhm.
which they're gonna stop that. This for Mirage, it's not. It's a shorter game because it was supposed to be a DLC release,
Right.
and everyone's still having controversy about the gameplay of it. Like, you can't please everyone. You really can't.
Yeah.
People just suck. That's why I hate people. Just saying.
Oh, I thought it was the fish thing.
That too.
Oh. Assassin's Creed Mirage is also set to come out pretty quickly.
It is,
It's got a
yeah.
release date of October 5th.
They
Um,
actually pushed it up. They pushed their release date up. I think it was from like sometime also in October, but they released it up because there was those big games that's coming out, like
mhm.
the new Spider-Man 2.
Yep. Comes out the same day as Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah, so they were like, that's not a good business standpoint for
Yeah.
us, so they pushed it up to the 5th. And then also, no, I'll get into that later because
Oh, it's on the list.
it's probably on the list.
It's on the
It's
list.
probably on the list. That's why I'm like, I gotta wait.
Speaking of Mario Brothers Wonder, as of literally yesterday, Charles Martinet is retiring as the voice of Mario. He is stepping down, and he is taking a new position as Nintendo's Mario ambassador, and will, according to them, travel the world bringing people the joy of Mario.
That would be so cool. But I'm
It-
gonna be so sad.
Yeah, there were theories going around, and I was a denier. When the trailers for WarioWare Shake It Up and Super Mario Brothers Wonder came out, people were saying Mario and Wario's voices sounded kind of weird, but I was like, hey, dude's getting up there in years.
He
Maybe
is, yeah.
like they've been reusing like a lot of the same voice clips for a while. Maybe they just needed new voice lines, and this is him aging. No, it's a new voice actor. They have yet to reveal who it is, but this dude has been Mario for longer than either of us have been alive. He
Right.
started with Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64, and he is ubiquitous. That is the voice of Mario, and as of yesterday, now it isn't.
What do you think about that? Like, do you think...
The only reason that I'm not bawling my eyes out is because I did that yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. Like, He's so iconic. That's just like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna now try pineapple on a pepperoni pizza." Like,
What?
like
How did?
because if you think about it, like you have. I don't know. But okay,
No, no,
anywho.
no. You're explaining the pepper. No,
Oh man.
I'm spitting.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
s-
okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna try my best to explain this analogy that I just
Right.
created.
Of course.
So we have Mario and you just strip Mario
Mm-hmm.
of his voice,
Sure.
and now you're left with a new voice of Mario.
Right.
Maybe I should have said like you take the pepperoni off the pizza.
Yeah, that would have made
That
more
that would
sense
have made more
because you
sense.
were just
That
like, yeah, you take this awesome thing and you add a topping to it.
But
Like,
some people don't like pineapples on pizza.
I love
I
pineapple.
like pineapples on pizza. I'm
It's
not gonna
so
lie.
good.
It's not bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna just be like, let me get pineapples on my pizza every time. But like
No.
a Hawaiian pizza,
A Hawaiian pizza,
No,
that
like,
shit
come on,
slaps,
come on,
right?
like, you can't
You
do
get
that.
the cinnamon on there with the ham and the pineapple.
Mm.
It's good.
I've never had it with cinnamon.
Yeah, if you go to like Donato's or someplace, they like top it. It's like cinnamon seasoned pineapple and ham.
Oh, see,
great.
I've always done. No, they never season my stuff. They cheap with my stuff, I guess.
Damn.
I don't know who I go to anymore, but I haven't had pineapple on pizza in a while. But still, back to it. It's sad that he's gone,
Yeah.
but
On a technical level, there have been other actors who played Mario prior to him.
right.
And they were considered iconic in their own right. The most obvious that comes to mind is Captain Lou Albano, who played Mario in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Both the live action and animated versions of him.
Right.
And I mean, for some people, that was their childhood Mario, and it was weird hearing the new voice. But I think for 95% of people, this is their Mario. Charles Martinet is Mario. And it's difficult to imagine the series without him, but I am glad that he's not just like retiring, and he's going
still
to
doing
be,
something
He's
with
still
it,
repped
yeah.
by Nintendo. They're still honoring him. Even when they had Chris Pratt do the Mario voice in the Mario Brothers movie, Charles Martinet had a cameo where he commented, like, his line in the movie is literally like, "I think the voice is perfect, woohoo!" and whatnot. Like, that's great. Like, give him his little moment.
I like that. I like that. Chris Pratt was interesting though as Mario. I'm still not gonna lie about that.
I don't think it went terribly, but we
didn't
talked
go
about that.
Yeah, we
already.
did talk about that, but still, I don't think it went that badly. But it was still weird.
Yeah. Moving on a little bit, I want to transition into something that's more of just like something that I noticed, rather, or like something that I interacted with recently, just because I was thinking about like Nintendo as a brand and their legacy and everything. There's some things that I remember from my childhood that transitioned into being new stuff without my ever noticing. And I want to know, did you have a Wii as a kid?
I did.
Okay. Do you remember when you would open up the packaging or look at the back of a box on the Wii, and there would be a little like slip or a little code or something where you could register your game for Club Nintendo? It had the little logo of just like Mario's cap, like a red silhouette, and you could like go and get points. And
Oh, so I do remember I think I remember that, but like I don't remember on the Wii. I remember on the DS.
yeah, it
Like,
happened.
I know
with,
it happened on the
Yeah.
like the 3DS. I saw in the back.
It was
like
it was all Nintendo products,
I
and
didn't know all that.
you could like register your games with Club Nintendo, and you would like gain points the more stuff that you did through them, and then you could turn in those points for exclusive Club Nintendo rewards, and some of them were like you could get like downloadable Wii games that you couldn't get any other way. And I know there was one that was like you make your own WarioWare games, and it was like a little coding thing. And I'm pretty sure that one of the rewards was like there were some downloadable DSiWare games, and you could get like World of Goo for the Wii for free. But they had like a bunch of little stuff like that, and there were some like unique like physical prizes you could get. I know there was a limited edition like golden Game & Watch thing that you could get through My Nintendo, or sorry, through Club Nintendo. But I don't remember when the transition happened. But eventually, Club Nintendo was discontinued. And My Nintendo, which is sort of the spiritual successor to it, showed up. And I didn't notice. I, for the longest time, have been thinking that these two things were the same until, like, a week ago when I was, like, on My Nintendo using some points that I had saved up to order one of their like unique physical prizes, which in this case for me was like a set of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coasters in a little like collectible tin. And that's not the first time that I've done that. I've used the service before. I got a couple like holographic Metroid Dread posters last year when that game came out. Or I guess 2 years ago now because I'm old. Wow. Man, we've been here a while. But yeah, I've been using this Surface the whole time, and in my head it was just like, yeah, I wish I had done this back when I had the Wii, because I would have so many points stored up. No, I wouldn't. It's a different thing, and I hadn't realized just how well integrated into everything Nintendo does the My Nintendo service is, because you can earn points for this thing on every app that Nintendo has. All of them have unique ways to earn, I think it's platinum points on there. And everything, you can get free points every day for just logging into the website and saying that you're there. And every time you purchase something on the Nintendo eShop, and every time you register a physical copy of a game that you've bought, you get like a certain number of gold points, which are each worth a penny on the eShop, which means that if you save up enough gold points after like buying a few games, when a new game releases for like $30 or whatever, you can cut the price in half just by spending 1,500 coins or whatever. And it'll be like, oh, now you're only paying $15 for this thing. And I just hadn't really, like, I'd taken it for granted. It's been here the whole time, and I've been using it. But I hadn't really, like, thought about, like, when was this put in place? When did this show up? Because it was on the 3DS, but I could also swear that Club Nintendo was on the 3DS, like you said.
Yeah. Which
means that somewhere a transition happened. And I don't know where it was. And I just think that's weird.
That is strange, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. That's all I got for Nintendo. That's less news and more just like, that's weird.
Someone in the comments just like, shut that out, I guess.
Yeah. Us and our massive army of active commenters. Let's talk about super recent stuff. 6 days ago, you've heard me talk about Hololive a lot at this point. I may have a problem, but this isn't it. Because Hololive and the fans behind it have done something absolutely insane. And I think I may have talked about this a little bit in one of the episodes last semester about a game called Holocure, which is a real-time bullet hell roguelike. And it takes the format of a game that went viral about a year and a half ago called Vampire Survivors. And I think you actually just walked up on me a couple days ago when I was playing Holocure on my laptop outside.
Yes, I did.
And what it is this game has a roster of 38 unlockable characters where each one of them is a real-life VTuber working for Hololive. And they've all got unique move sets and tools that are all references to things that they've done in their careers. And you play through levels where you're shooting and fighting against enemies and bosses that are the fans of those people. So literally me, I am the enemy in this game, which I think is really funny. And it's bizarre because it's based heavily on Vampire Survivors. And as of August 17th, HoloCure version 0.6 released. And to be clear, this game is free. Vampire Survivors, not a free game. This game is free. HoloCure is now a larger game with more varied content than the game that it's based on. It is a knockoff that I would now consider to be a better product than the thing that it's a knockoff of. And that's wild, because what 0.6 does is it adds 9 additional characters from HoloLive Indonesia's branch. It adds a bunch of new weapons. It adds a whole new stage, several new game modes, and bizarrely, it added in a, like, gardening, fishing, house creation and customization, and, like, village management game. So all of the stuff that I was talking about earlier for Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon, now you can do that in the funny anime girl game. And you can do it as any of those characters with the bullet hell thing as just a distraction if you want to do that, or the other way around. They put a fishing minigame in here that is just like a quick, like, hey, the longer you do it, the bigger a chain you get, and it's all based on this fun little rhythm game, and you can upgrade your fishing rod, which lets you get more varieties of fish, and different fishing rods let you catch rarer fish more often. Jordan, I spent 5.5 hours this past Saturday only fishing.
Why?
Because I'm addicted.
Well, I could have told you that one. Like,
yeah. But no, the gameplay loop of this game was already super addicting, and they've now added in what could arguably be the single best reason for anyone to ever continue playing, which is they gave you access to a bunch of furniture and stuff that you can buy for your house and customize your walls and everything. And they made it really expensive. So you have to play the game to get all of these things. And the game is really fun by itself, but it operates on a system of enemies show up at timed intervals, and they spawn infinitely. So a stage for this game will always take exactly 20 minutes for the final boss to show up, and you pretty well can't survive past 25 minutes without defeating the boss.
So this game actually sounds really interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
it's really fun, and it's free, and it's available on Mac and Windows automatically. But there's also fan ports that have put it on Android devices. Oh. So when you first saw me playing it, I was playing it on this Chromebook here.
Yeah, I was about to
which
say.
Is a device that it can't run on. I went and found, I set my Chromebook to developer mode, and then I went and found a fan-created, I'm saying fan-created, the whole thing is fan-created, but now it's a fan version of the fan game, where somebody had ported it to Android, and I'm playing the Android version of it on the Chromebook. So you could play it on anything. It's wildly accessible, and it's truly incredible that it has like gotten to the scale that it is, especially considering that the game itself has gone viral more than Vampire Survivors did. So more people have played this game now than people have played the game that it's based on.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's insane. And also, all of the characters in the game, like I mentioned, are VTubers, meaning that they're real people in real life, and their job is playing video games. You better believe that streams of them playing the game where they get to play as themselves are going crazy.
Yeah.
People love it.
See, that kind of reminds me of that kind of reminds me like way like left curve, but
Mhm.
like something that kind of reminds me since it's like almost like fan inspired, I would say,
Mhm.
is the whole GTA role playing servers in like 5M.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like one of those like things because you always see like I
It,
want to have GTA and I want to play GTA role playing,
mhm.
like something like that.
It sort of feels like I think the equivalent there would be like if a character from that was like an audience created character from one of those GTA role playing servers showed up as a real Rockstar created character in GTA 6. It would be like that.
Yeah.
Or it's like Dwayne the Rock Johnson sitting down, opening up Fortnite and playing as Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Who did that? No, I was about
Tony
to.
Hawk did that.
Tony Hawk did do that. Yes, I was thinking of who did that. Um, cause then I don't think Travis Scott did that, but I think no, cause Soldier Boy's not in the game. But I think
Why?
Travis Scott might have done
I'm so. What are we talking about?
that. Rappers and playing video games. That's
Okay.
what we're talking about. Rappers and video games.
You know, I've never looked for it, but I bet that a bunch of the rappers in Def Jam Fight for New York probably have video of them playing as themselves in that game.
Honestly, I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
would, I'd play that. Or sorry, I'd watch that.
I'd
I'd
play
be
that.
down. I'd be down to watch Snoop Dogg on his Twitch channel playing as Snoop Dogg beating people up. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh. I think I feel like celebrities in video games nowadays has become the new crave. Did you see that they added Nicki Minaj into Call of Duty?
No, I did not see
It
that,
is
Jordan.
the funniest thing. I'm gonna have to show you after this.
I'm looking it up now.
Literally,
Are you
it
kidding?
is so crazy. It doesn't look like Nicki Minaj. It really doesn't. They add, so far the Call of Duty characters has
I'm learning that I don't know how to spell her name.
Nikki J
M-A-J?
Manjay, I think.
M-A-N-J-A. Okay, so you've had me spelled Nicki Mancha.
Wait, M-A.
Okay, I found her.
A.
All right. Let's see. And
Like, I kid you
then-
not.
Huh?
It is so good. Like, it's funny. Like, seeing all these celebrities. They had a Snoop Dogg in there, too. Who else? Messi?
Oh my word.
Yeah.
This is wild, right? Like,
I'm just saying, like, I swear.
because like Fortnite's one thing, right? Because
Fortnite
that's a
is
big,
one thing,
that's a
yes.
big cartoony game full of cartoon characters. You get shot, and it's a little bubble appears on you, and you go ow, and then
Right.
when you die, you fall over and you disappear into a little hologram projecty thingy, whatever. People are going to be shooting Nicki Minaj,
People
and there's
are going
going
to
to
be
be blood, and
shooting
her
Nick-
corpse will be on the
Snoop
floor.
Dogg is about to shoot Nicki Minaj.
What timeline are we in?
While Messi's over there doing a finisher on who else did they add? A FaZe Clan member. Like,
Ah.
right? Like, it's crazy.
I mean, if we're talking about guest characters, you know I gotta bring the conversation over back to the fighting game side of things. It's not out yet.
Okay.
I don't like Mortal Kombat. I've never liked Mortal Kombat. However, something that NetherRealm Studios does amazing, and I can acknowledge that they do absolutely amazing, is they give us some damn good guest characters.
They really do.
And when they revealed who the guest characters for Season 1 of Mortal Kombat 1 were, I've never bought a Mortal Kombat game. I've only ever played them when it was a game that showed up for free in a service that I already had. I'm gonna have to buy Mortal Kombat 1. I'm gonna have to play it. Because the guest characters for Season 1 of Mortal Kombat 1 are Omni-Man from Invincible, It's Peacemaker from Peacemaker, so John Cena's in the game, and Homelander from The Boys.
I almost forgot about that. You brought that up. They added Homelander to Call of Duty.
What?
They have Homelander, Starlight. Who else they got?
Why did they do that?
I don't know. It's literally a game mode where you can play as their powers too. Like, I kid you not, you go around blasting people with their eyes.
It's
awful. Awful. I'm like, ain't no way.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. Like, it was...
Homelander's gonna kill Nicki Minaj.
Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. This world needs to just stop bringing in characters. Everyone's doing it.
And the thing is, I can't even make the "we live in a society" joke because the same game that brought in the Terminator, you could play as the Joker. So I don't. What do we do? What do we do?
No,
what do we do?
There's nothing we can do. They're everywhere.
I have to buy Mortal Kombat now. Oh my God. I don't want to buy Mortal Kombat.
You're gonna have to buy Mortal Kombat.
I
feel like Mortal Kombat is not gonna be that bad though. Like, I'm not gonna get it.
Well, no. Okay, here's the thing. I don't like Mortal Kombat because the gameplay style of Mortal Kombat doesn't mesh well with me.
Okay.
I don't like having the block button, and I don't like having like the dial a combo system of everything's like predetermined. Press these buttons in this order, which I've gotten a little bit used to because Tekken has a lot of inputs like that. So
wait, doesn't Street Fighter have that too?
Street Fighter has target combos, which are semi-similar. But there's like maybe one or two of them per character. Most inputs for Street Fighter are either charge or motion inputs. So for a charge motion, it's you hold either back or down for a certain amount of time, and then you press the opposite direction and the button that corresponds to the attack at the same time. Or it's a motion input where you do like down and then slide the stick forward and press some button at the same time as the end of that motion to throw a fireball or whatever the move is. For Mortal Kombat, most moves are like XXYAYA or something along that line. And it's, that is like tied to a certain string of you do this, then this, then this, then this really quickly. And it's just predetermined that these channel into each other. And I'm not as big a fan of that. But again, for Tekken, there's a lot of that, and I've gotten a bit used to it through that. So
fair.
I've come around a little bit on that. I'm still not big on the whole gore aspect, just because I don't care and I can't be bothered to care.
Yeah.
Like I can look at it, but I don't see the appeal of it.
I like it. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, you know, you can rip people's spines. I think that like ripping people's spines is so fake though, because you like break someone's bones and they still fighting that full strength. Like, do something. Like,
no, the only thing that Mortal Kombat's ever done that I was like actually uncomfortable with was starting in Mortal Kombat X and 11, where you can perform a fatality on anyone, right?
Right.
And I'm fine with that, with the exception of when you're fighting a character that's like your daughter, because it's totally fine in Mortal Kombat X and 11 for Johnny Cage to have fun little banter with his daughter Cassie, and then they start a fight, and then he beats her, and instead of going GG's honey, he splits her head open and puts a trophy of himself in her neck hole.
You know,
I don't love that.
You know, that's a good point. I've never really considered that. Like, you know, I feel like
Sonya are married with kids.
Right.
Jax has Jackie. Like,
so, like, why are you still fighting each other? Like,
yeah,
that's what I've always wondered.
And everyone's just like smiling like they're in a Marvel movie, cracking jokes about
it.
And they're just like, I'll show you what I can do, Dad. What I can do is remove all of the bones from your body and then put you through this blender, and then turn you into a little medallion.
Yeah, that's how that works. I mean, shoot.
I don't love it.
I'd be proud in the afterlife, I guess.
I wouldn't. I'd be really pissed off. Like, hey, when the dude said finish him, you're allowed to just sweep the leg.
Yeah, you're allowed to
You're allowed to do nothing.
You're allowed to mercy.
You can do mercy. You can do friendships.
You could do friendships, and you chose fatality.
Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
No reason.
We could have been jump roping. We could have been playing hopscotch right now.
We could have been playing patty cake and you over here ripping out my spine. I was trying to make something up with patty cake, but I couldn't think.
Straight up, Jax, every time you win a fight against Jackie as Jax, you are given the option of, do I break her arms and push them into her body, or do I do a cool saxophone solo?
I would rather go for the saxophone.
I would rather go for the saxophone.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I would rather go for the saxophone.
Moving on from that, there's a game that I got to talk about real quick, but I know almost nothing about, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say you probably also know almost nothing about.
You don't know that.
Okay, cool. So the developers of Dark Souls just released, or are about to release in 2 days, Armored Core 6. What are your thoughts on Armored Core 6?
I don't know what that is.
All right, cool. So moving on. Big mech game. Do you like mechs?
I think I have heard about that actually.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
No,
Trying to
I
count
haven't
that way.
actually. Wait. Maybe I have.
Transformers. You're thinking about
I'm not
Transformers.
thinking about Transformers. I think I remember one company came out with, I think it was the developers of Dark Souls. They came out with a game, I don't know if it was before or during Dark Souls era, but that was a mech game. And I think if this is the same one, then kudos to them. I'm not a mech person. I'm just not.
Was it Titanfall? Are you thinking of Titanfall?
No, it wasn't Titanfall. But Titanfall was a good mech game. That's the only mech game I like.
Titanfall 2 was a good mech game.
I like Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2.
Okay. All right. Okay. You can die on that hill, and that's fine. That's fine. Gamescom is happening, right now.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. We're in the middle of an Xbox showcase.
Why didn't you tell me before we even started?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah. You found me out there taking a nap, and I was like, I gotta update my script because I'm sure something's happened while I was asleep.
You were talking about Gamescom?
Gamescom, yeah.
And you didn't tell me.
It started yesterday. Yeah. We got some new Mortal Kombat 1 trailers. We got some cool character reveals there. They showed us the demo and everything. But more than that, thing I'm actually pretty excited for is third game in a series that I absolutely love. We're getting a third sequel, or I guess second sequel, to Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares 3 is coming out. I'm so hyped.
I am ready for that game. I have to go back and play the second one. I have to actually finish the first one. But I didn't...
Have you started the first one?
I have started the first one. This has been my second... This will be my third playthrough.
Okay.
Even though I haven't played through it yet.
Right.
So I have to restart it all
Gotta
over
get
again.
through them all.
I gotta get through it. But I actually enjoyed Little Nightmares just a little bit.
Little Nightmares is great. It's so atmospheric, and the soundtrack adds so much to it. I love it.
But I'm not a scary person. I don't like scary stuff.
Yeah.
And this game is terrifying.
Oh, it's great though.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying in the same way that Limbo or Inside is terrifying, where it's mostly just you're around and the things that can kill you aren't that scary. It's where you are that's weird. It's the people that are there aren't that big of threats to you. It's just the fact that you're so small and everything else is so big.
Right.
And it really does a good job of adding to that of oh, you're this little girl, you got to satiate your hunger as you go through the game, and all of the adults that you see are these weird, lanky, messed up creatures wearing masks of distorted human faces, and the one dude he's raw skin down to about here, and it's just the mouth that you see under the mask, and he's his lower lip is dangling down, and it's
that is creepy. Ew.
It's great.
One game that reminds me of that, just this aspect of being so tiny and stuff that I found really interesting that I still wish I played. I'm probably gonna go back and play it with my old roommate.
Kirby?
Grounded.
What?
Grounded.
Oh, is that the Honey I Shrunk the Kids game where you got
yeah. That one was actually a really good game. I'm not gonna lie, the graphics was nice. I loved the graphics. Gameplay was good. It was an interesting concept because I've never really played a game like that before. And it's scary. Oh my gosh, it's terrifying.
Really?
I don't like insects in general, okay?
I love insects.
I do not. But when I see
I used to date an insect.
a wolf spider this close to me while it's like the size of my head in real life, I'm freaking out. Like,
I do feel obligated to point out that that's not an insect.
it's an arachnid, but
Yeah.
like it's basically an insect. I call all the bugs insects because they all look like bugs.
Also not a bug.
But oh my gosh, what? I'm not even getting it started. But they got flies. Is a fly a bug?
Yeah.
Okay, so they got flies and they have gnats. Those little gnats are so annoying, and the bees too. I'm sorry, I gotta stop.
No, you're good.
Because it just makes me so mad.
Okay, so that thing that you're thinking about right now, that mental image you've got, imagine that you've got like a bunch of tiny little red and orange dudes, or red and blue and yellow dudes that you're managing. That's Pikmin.
Oh my god.
That's what Pikmin is.
No. Well then I don't want to play it because that's too scary. I can't finish this game even though it's such a good game.
Pikmin's cute instead of scary.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, it's all
We
cartoony.
can do that. We can do that.
But it is from a top-down perspective.
I'm not playing that.
Oh, dang. But you can switch to first-person mode for the shooting segments,
Just for the shooting segments?
I think.
I'll give it a shot.
All right.
My goodness.
And it's $60.
I'm not doing that. Never mind. I can't. I gotta wait for. I think it's coming out on Game Pass, anyways. Secret Lives of P. It's
Now, what you've done, and it's a hilarious thing that you've done, and I want this to exist, truly. What I think you're talking about is Lies of P, the Pinocchio Soulsborne game.
Did I say that wrong?
You said Secret Life of P, which I'm pretty sure you took from The Secret Life of Pets, the Illumination film, and nothing could make me happier.
I am talking about Lies of P.
I want to play as tiny Kevin Hart Bunny going through killing giant machinations.
That would be pretty good too. You know, I'm waiting for that game.
I want that game. Let me play as Snowball.
It should come out soon on Game Pass. I think it's in September. I believe.
Let's check.
Yeah.
Lies of P release date September 16th.
It's coming out September 19th on Game Pass.
Huh?
Yeah. Starfield is also what I'm waiting for too.
September 6th.
That one's September 6th, yes.
Right around the corner.
And then let's see what else we got. Payday 3.
Payday 3 is
The 21st of September.
Yeah.
Is when it's
Okay,
coming
I'm
out.
going to be 100% honest with you. I thought Payday 3 came out like 3 years ago.
That's Payday 2.
I know.
That came out in 20
That's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but it's still a good game though.
But I fully thought Payday 3 happened already.
I did too. I'm not gonna lie, I did too.
When I heard, they're making a new Payday, I thought it was gonna be Payday 4.
Oh.
I thought, I don't know how it happened.
I swear I thought we had a Payday 3 as well.
Right?
Like I know it was.
What are we thinking of?
I don't know.
Is this Mandela effect? What's happening?
I don't know. Let's see what else. Oh.
You good?
I didn't know that two Persona games are coming out on Game Pass as well.
Yeah.
We got Persona 3 Reloaded.
Yep. Sorry. That shouldn't be coming out on Game Pass yet.
It's coming out on Game Pass next year.
Okay, that makes
in
sense.
February. February 2nd, 2024.
I'm very excited because that is a remake, but like a ground up remake of Persona 3.
Okay.
And it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm obviously a big Persona fan, and we talked a little bit about Persona 3 Reload. Actually, did we?
I don't think we talked about Persona 3 Reload. I think we talked more about maybe we did. Because I remember us talking about
we
Persona.
definitely did.
I know it was one Persona game that we talked about.
We talked about because Persona 3 Reload and one other Atlas game made by Katsura Hashino. came out, or sorry, they were announced at the same time, and we talked about that at the end. Yeah, Metaphor Refantasio, which is the like Persona-esque, but it's all steampunk themed, and you've got like the big cinematic elements of it. We talked about that and the announcement for Persona 3 Reload at the end of last semester.
Persona 5 Tactica is coming out on Game
which
Pass.
I am buying day one.
You could just buy an Xbox.
You know, I could do that, but
and
unfortunately, I have this thing where I prefer like purchasing good products.
Wow.
So if I could get that Game Pass for PlayStation, oh wait, I forgot.
Who had it first? Who had it first?
Redbox.
All right, I don't even hate you for that one. That was a good answer. Good. You know, I'm sad that Redbox got rid of their games. I'm not gonna lie. I wish they had games still.
I can't tell if you're messing with me or not.
I'm not. They got rid of their games.
No, they didn't.
They did. They did. I swear to you. Look it up. They got rid of their games. Look it up. Right now.
I'm looking it up.
Right now.
I'm looking it up.
Did Redbox get rid of their games?
No.
Bull.
No, it's here. I got like redbox.com, movies and games.
What games they got right now then? What games?
Hold on.
Yeah, none.
No, it's just loading. This is a really bad website.
None.
No, it's not even showing. Like it's bad. It's like it's bad.
Is that even a website?
Oh, it's their official website. But we got a day or two before Redbox goes the way of Blockbuster, I think.
I'm so sad. I used to love Redbox too. I used to use that all the time.
Yeah.
Until we have streaming.
Oh, that's interesting.
None.
No, it has them. In fact, it has all of them. But they're for sale.
So they're charging for games now?
Well, they always charged for games.
Well, I know that, but it was for rent.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
2 days.
Nope.
Now you can
buy them. Just buy them.
So Redbox is trying to become GameStop.
I don't know if that's the best business move for them. We got a whole lot. Oh, I guess we should talk about that. Did you know that the GameStop stock incident is having a movie being made about it?
Like a
fully Hollywood film.
Oh, like why?
Is
it gonna be like the tragedy of GameStop or like GameStop? Where'd it go?
So the name of the movie is called Dumb Money, and it is being produced by Sony Pictures Entertainment.
Of course it is.
And it looks like what they're going for is somewhere between a like Wolf of Wall Street parody and like an Edgar Wright-esque like action drama.
About GameStop.
About specifically the people on Reddit and other platforms who manipulated the GameStop stock and the lawsuit that they had to face because they got a bunch of rich dudes to lose a bunch of money while become massively rich themselves.
Wow.
And honestly, in terms of movies that I would go see in theaters, I'm more interested in this than Gran Turismo.
I don't know. That Gran Turismo movie looks stupid. I'm not even gonna lie.
This is my job, right? I sit here and we talk about video games.
We talk about this, yes.
I'm gonna have to watch the Gran Turismo movie. I'm gonna have to pay the however much it costs to go and hear David Harbour talk about taking these sweaty gamers who've never like worked out and he sits in their video game room playing video games all day and you're gonna put them in a car that's a 200 mile per hour death machine?
You know what?
Are you crazy?
Spoiler alert, he wins. Sorry,
Really?
Sorry, not sorry.
That's crazy.
I just told you the whole movie right there.
Did you? Did you know that because it's a movie or did you know that because it's based on a true story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Whatever you say.
It's wild to me that these are two, like, based on real life, video game adjacent films coming out simultaneously.
I really don't understand that.
I'm lost as to who, for the Gran Turismo movie, I don't understand who the target audience is. And for the GameStop stock movie, I'm confused because it seems like the people making the movie about a bunch of rich assholes getting angry because they lost their money. It seems like the movie's being made by, as best I can tell, a bunch of rich assholes trying to make money. So I don't know. It's sort of the same situation of like the Barbie movie that just came out, which is pretty good.
Haven't seen it yet.
And it's just pretty good.
Haven't seen it yet.
But like the closest thing that the movie has to like a villain is Mattel, the company that makes Barbie. Like they're a bunch of bumbling misogynist idiots pretending not to be bumbling misogynist idiots. And I mean it's really funny, but it's also like the company made the movie too. So
yeah, throwing shots at the developers is crazy though.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's happened a couple times.
It has.
Like there was a whole thing when you were playing the original, I want to say either Doom or Doom 2, like the old version. The secret boss, in order to like get that true ending of the game, was you would have to go in and find the developer's head somewhere and take a chainsaw to it.
I do remember that. Yeah, I saw a video about that.
It's pretty funny. As an old school Easter egg. But I did want to ask you, but real quick, because we're coming up on the limit of like how long we should probably go.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about Dragon Ball for an hour.
Hey, don't get me started with that.
I wanted to ask you, we've had this phenomenon twice now.
Okay.
Once with Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, which released on the same day and resulted in people pairing Isabelle from Animal Crossing and Doom Guy from Doom. They made a bunch of fan art and
I do remember seeing that now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, Isabelle loves Doom. Doom Guy loves Animal Crossing. The two of them are best friends. Look at them go. It's so wholesome. So you end up with like rip and tear Isabelle and whatnot, which is pretty funny. And then we've seen it again this past summer with the release of Oppenheimer and Barbie on the same day, and people being like, gotta go see both of them. This is the thing we're doing now.
Right.
And all of the fan art of like Barbie and Oppenheimer together, best buds, love to see it. Like all the jokes about like, yeah, I went to go see this movie about, you know, somebody who blew up the entire world and was like, setting everybody's lives in danger, but was pursuing it for the sake of, you know, their own ego. And I also saw Oppenheimer. Like, yeah, these jokes make sense. And now it's happened for a third time. Because, as we mentioned earlier, Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Spider-Man 2 are coming out on the same day. And as a result, we've got a bizarre amount of fan art of, like, Mario with Venom. Which is... honestly, because we're a bit far out from when the release date is, the fan art that exists isn't that great so far. But I guarantee you we're going to get a holographic poster down the line.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about these release date pairings?
You know, I really feel like, in a marketing standpoint, that's awful. Obviously, let's be honest here.
Well, I don't think they've done it on purpose.
I know they didn't do it on purpose. Like, honestly, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna release it at the same time. Let's be twins." You know, no. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like, well, me personally, I'm picking Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm picking Spider-Man. Day one, I'm gonna release it. Yeah. But then I'm gonna forget about Mario. So it's like, I hate those kind of pairings when it comes into what I want to play first. But when it comes into like pairings for like the memes and stuff, I'm all for it. Like, I'm all for it. Like, Unless it gets weird. Then I'm
So
like,
what I'm hearing is I need to show up at your dorm with Switch and Mario Wonder on release date and be like, "Hey, yo, Jordan, put it down, drop it. We're playing Mario. He's on drugs this time, Jordan."
I'm gonna say, I can't get out my room. I'm playing Spider-Man. That is the number one thing I'm gonna say.
Damn.
Like that one.
You know what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to call Nick and get him to bring you out.
I won't even get out. Like I'm probably gonna miss so much class time to play that. I'm gonna 100% it in about a week. Like,
hey, more power to you, but like if that's the route that you're going, bring whatever system you're playing. It's a PlayStation. Bring your PS5 to class so that you don't lose out on attendance.
That's true, but I don't feel like carrying that thing. And then they're gonna be like,
"You gotta get a card. You gotta get a card.
Can I play? No.
Single player game.
Single player, guys. You can't.
Yeah.
I remember bringing. Funny story about my life. I brought a DS for the first time to recess in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
It was 4th grade. I brought my DS to recess, and I used to play Beyblades on my DS.
I was a Bakugan kid myself.
So I was playing the game, and they were like, everyone was around me. I was the cool kid on the block, but I didn't like that because I was like, don't you touch my thing. If you do, we fighting. You ain't taking my recess because it was only like 30-minute recess.
Right.
You cannot play a game in 30 minutes.
No.
So they trying to take my stuff.
You're lucky if you can beat Wordle in 30 minutes.
Right? I'm like, all right, you know what, y'all? I'm going to be in this slide. Don't you come in this slide because I can't see because the sun's too bright.
Right, yeah.
But, anywho.
Path of the Warrior.
Turns out, long story short, I got in trouble by the principal because I decided to stay out there for an extra 30 minutes to play my game. Because these kids were messing with my games and being around me too much. They were all up in my bubble while I'm trying to play some Beyblades. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Now I know why you prefer fish over people.
I hate people.
Yeah. Well, that's about all I got for today.
Yeah.
You have anything special you want to talk about? Quick shout out to any particular game? Let's go Day of the Tentacle. I see you.
Ew. The only thing I'm probably gonna shout out is I cannot wait for the release of Starfield. That's one of the games that's on my radar already.
I can't wait for Garfield either, man. What?
Anywho, I also can't wait for Assassin's Creed Mirage, obviously. I've been waiting to play an Assassin's Creed game for a while. And then Liza P, I guess not Secret Liza P, but Liza P.
Man, if we can... Somebody listening, we're both broke. We can't offer you money, but just saying, if you want to make a mod...
Just a mod, at least. Like, I'd love you forever.
It'd be pretty cool.
I would. But yeah, those games, when they come out, I'm going to be playing that day one. Swear. But no, that's about all I have.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, thank you all for listening. As always, we have really enjoyed talking with you. If you would like, we have more podcasts available on www.easternprogress.com, and you can find us online at Eastern Progress. I'm Deforest White.
I am Jordan Lowry. Trying to steal my thing like that.
This has been Jordan Lowry. Yeah. Everybody have a good evening. See ya.